Salutations, everyone, and welcome to What Mattered, the show where I tell you what mattered in the news this week. My goodness, that season finale of Game of Thrones. Wasn't it crazy when... So yes, Game of Thrones was a thing that totally happened, the season is over, and now we can look to the future to see how much do we have left, because things. And we heard some rumblings about there being 13 episodes left when the season first started. And now that the season is over, talking to the producers again, it looks like they're sticking to that plan, going from 13 to as maybe 15 additional episodes left over the last 2 seasons. So that means the next 2 seasons aren't going to be your full-fledged seasons, and that they're going to be, maybe 6 or 7 episodes a piece. Which makes sense if you've seen the show so far and trying to envision what might be left to do. That seems reasonable. It is, of course, a disappointment that we're going to have to, first of all, wait for the next season, and the fact that they're going to be shorter seasons and that, it is coming to an end. But, boy, what an amazing show. That season finale, probably the biggest episode of the season. And I'm not just saying that because it was literally the longest episode that the show has had thus far. It was pretty important. But, nonetheless, there is still some left in the future. Let's talk about movie announcement news. There's a few movies that got their release dates this week. Starting with Minecraft, May 24th, 2019. And now that may seem a far, far away time, but animated films take a long-ass time, especially when they're this early in development and, not handled by, Disney or Pixar or DreamWorks, studios that, churn out this kind of stuff. They say that they're going for the Jurassic World audience, so, people that will watch anything? I'm not kidding, that movie was actually not good at all, but made a crap ton of money. So, obviously, they're going for the people that will give us money no matter how good our product is audience, which is absolutely, no fault of their own, a sweet audience to shoot for. And, hopefully for them, they get it. Minecraft is... even though it might not be in the zeitgeist that we've seen, in the past with the amount of streamers or YouTube views, it's still huge. It's still one of the biggest games out there, and it's only getting bigger. More platforms, all the updates and all the platforms, and, the kids are turning 4 years old literally every single day, so their audience is only growing, even if it might not seem like it. So, while 2019 may see a far way off, the game's been going friggin' strong since, that early access beta nonsense. And it's probably only going to get bigger by then. So we've seen some video game movie adaptations maybe come out past the prime of that franchise. But Minecraft being the best-selling game in existence is definitely, I think, not playing by the rules that other movies have set forth. Another movie that got its release date, February 23rd, 2018, Pacific Rim 2, starring your boy John Boyega from Star Wars The Force Awakens fame, who will be playing Idris Elba's son, and no word on where in the timeline this is going to be taking place, but, there was all that questions about, we know that Guillermo del Toro wants to produce another film, and now we have Stephen D. Knight directing the film, who did the season 1 of Daredevil, so it seems to be in good hands with a legitimate actor as its star, so it definitely seems promising. The first movie I felt it looked okay visually, but story-wise it was garbage. When all of your monsters come from one spot, why don't you just wait for them and just spawn kill them like a good gamer? But regardless, it made money, and with the studio that has bought the rights to it, they're big on giants fighting each other, so they're like, sequels. All the sequels to all the things. So, we knew that Pacific Rim 2 was going to be a reality, and we did know that John Boyega was attached to it, but now we finally have a release date, and we get to know who John Boyega is playing, and that's good news. Also, coming out a month after that will be Wreck-It Ralph 2. It was announced just the other day. There was a lot of speculations over things that John C. Reilly has been saying over the past year. Be like, is there going to be a Wreck-It Ralph 2? Because it kind of seems like he's totally saying that there is. and now we have the official announcement that it is. And no more video games for Wreck-It Ralph and Penelope von Schweetz. They're going to the internet, as shown by this artist's rendition of all of these like knockoff internet websites of their logos and stuff. So it makes sense because they've kind of covered what they can do in an arcade. So in a storytelling perspective, this makes sense. I don't know how they gain internet access, but it can be done in a various amount of ways, considering the fiction that they laid down in the first movie. And also they won't have to pay for all those licensing of video game characters. That was a little bit of a nightmare. In the first film, now they're going to have more free range to, I'm guessing, memes. No idea what the story or the antagonist is going to be, but they have a billion different ways that they can do with this because it's literally the internet. So we're going to see plenty of outdated memes and probably a decent story nonetheless. And you know, it's only, 2018, so it's not that far off, and Disney has showed us that they are the powerhouse of animation nowadays, even though Finding Dory was amazing. It's still going to be difficult to beat Zootopia for the Oscar. But both fantastic films, and Disney has now a proven track record. Now let's see how they can handle sequels, because they haven't really done one in a long time, especially when you take consideration the CG animated side of things. It's the first one. Like, real one. And speaking of video games, as if that was a hard segue to get into, Diablo, one of the biggest franchises of all time, with Diablo 3 being one of the best-selling video games in history, is looking for new blood to lead Diablo into the future. Now, we've seen some job listings for Diablo Project before, but now that Diablo 3's director has left the game industry entirely, they are looking for a new director. There's no word if this is a DLC or a new Diablo game as a whole. But we haven't seen anything since Reaper of Souls, even though they've given us tons of new content that other game companies would have us pay for free consistently since the game has come out, and it is an amazing game. Definitely check it out if you haven't already. It's, you can get it on the cheap nowadays, but it'd be interesting to see if it was DLC because it's been so long since Reaper of the Souls, and the fact that we've only had that one expansion, and Diablo isn't known for many expansions. So Diablo 4, I think, is possibly more likely considering the time that it's been since Diablo 3 was launched, but it could be more DLC to breathe life into this game that has an enormous install base because it's one of the top 10 best-selling games ever. So that wouldn't be surprising either way. Doesn't matter, whatever they're working on, I'm gonna buy it, and it's gonna be good, because it's Blizzard, and it's Diablo, and that is a perfect formula for fun times. Now, like I mentioned, we did see job listings way back last year for an untitled Diablo thing that seemed like it was gonna be a DLC. Don't know if this is a similar fashion, if it's the same project or what, but we can just wait and hope. Your Xbox free games for gold for July go as follows: Banner Saga 2 and Tumblestone for the Xbox One, and on the 360, as well as Xbox One via backwards compatibility, will be Tron Evolution and Rainbow Six Vegas 2. Your PlayStation Plus games for July go as follows: for the PS4, you get Saints Row Get Outta Hell, as well as Fury, or Furry, I don't know how it's pronounced. On PS3, you get Call of Juarez, Bound in Blood, and Fat Princess. And on the Vita, you get Orishika Tainted Bloodlines and Prince of Persia Revelation. Anywho, Neil the Blowfish, that is what mattered this week. If you would like to know what matters in the future, you can hit the subscribe button. One of these videos come out every single Saturday. Hope you all enjoyed. Leave your comments below about any story that I mentioned this week, and I will see you all next time.